What's up? How's everybody doing? Today we are tapping into part 2 of the birth chart segment. So stay tuned because it's on the way. Cue the intro. Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the birth chart series for my birth chart. Just reviewing it and sharing facts about birth charts in general, all the while using mine as a peer example for all of you. If you missed part 1, check the link below. It is part 1 that has all of my personal planets, my Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn placement. Yes, are all part of that video. So today we're going to get into part 2 of that, and that is going to be on the generational planets and some of the points in the sky that are not necessarily planetary bodies, but just cosmic points in the area. So let us begin. Last week, sorry, my words are all crazy today. Last week we were ending with Saturn in Capricorn in my 8th house. Now this week we're picking up with Uranus and Neptune. Those planets are also in my 8th house, so I have a stellium of all 3 of those in one house. 8th house is Scorpio ruled. It is the house of death, sex, transformation, endings, beginnings, changes, how you respond to those things as well is part of that energy, okay? My Uranus being in Capricorn in my 8th house, Uranus is an Aquarian ruled planet. So you guys will see how some of this all interconnects as I go on, okay? So this Uranus is going to be about surprises and shocks and sudden changes and how people tend to deal with those things. I got my notes. If I'm looking, just know I'm still here. A lot of people have mentioned this to be the planet called the Great Awakener because it just bam, shock, change. Oh shit, what happened? It's always how you deal with disturbance, be it a positive or a negative or positive or challenging disturbance. I really enjoyed that. Me having mine in Capricorn. Capricorn, of course, is that sign of discipline, hard work, push. That is what this sign is known for. And so with it being in my Aquarian ruled house, Capricorn and Aquarius are 2 really huge placements in my birth chart that really talks about work for me, and things that I'm doing regarding my work are very key in this house as well as my 10th house. And you guys will get into that in a second. If you don't remember, my 10th house has my Mars placement in Aquarius as well. So stay with me, okay? Having Uranus in Capricorn would give you great interest in the occult, tarot. You guys can see I like a lot of that kind of stuff right here. Gives you a lot of insight into death, sex, transformation, understanding those things. When we get into generational planets, you start to notice that it's generational. And I call them that because a lot of these planets stay in signs from anywhere from 10 to 14 years or something like that. So it's imagine 10 years worth of people having their Uranus in Capricorn. Do you see what I mean? I think Uranus is a 14-year planet, actually. I can't 100% remember, but between 10 and 14 years. So a lot of people have that same placement. But where it becomes to be a little more personalized in the birth chart is what house it's in. So with it being in the 8th house, you can know that you may experience a lot of shocks and surprises in this area, and how you handle it may be revolved around this. So Capricorn is a sign of work, do, push. That is me. I tend to try to push through things. In a positive aspect, I would say that the Capricorn cardinal energy is what will take over. It kind of pushes me to overcome change or embrace change in a positive way. But also if I'm too anxious and I'm not in balance and I'm in like the polarity side of it, which is like the negative side or the shadow side of that Capricorn energy, it could look like negative because I'm trying to control everything. Like I'm stressed out, situation's not going how I want, now I'm trying to control everything. So you can notice that Uranus energy definitely coming in that way as well. So how you handle surprising energy, how you handle like sudden change. And I feel like I know somebody who has Uranus in the first house. It's so interesting, like the conversations we have about how they overcome things. It's just like, I like it because I haven't met many people who had that placement. So I think it's really neat. But mine being in my 8th house kind of also leads me to understand how I am adaptable when it comes to ever-changing work environments. So I can do good in like fast-paced changing work environments, I notice, as long as I do it in a healthy, receptive way. So if you've maybe had that placement and you've been wondering about it, ta-da! Let us see. Now we go into Neptune. Neptune is Pisces ruled. That is the ruling sign of this planet. But mine is in the 8th house, of course, in Capricorn, which would be Scorpio ruled. Death, sex, transformation, occult, beginnings, endings, all that good jazz. So you have a Pisces ruled sign in a Capricorn, Pisces ruled sign in Pisces ruled planet in the sign of Capricorn in a water sign house. Whew. Lord, that was rough, but makes for a very intuitive individual, makes for a person who is highly interested in the occult, of course, very high spiritual interest, being that this is Pisces rule. And this is also a very good indicator of like where you avoid reality to some degree. And this is really interesting when I saw this in my chart because it's so heavily wrapped in Capricorn, which is big with work. You guys will see why in just a moment. But work is like so huge for me. And I feel like when I looked at my birth chart, I said, oh, well, with Neptune and Capricorn, this makes so much sense to me now. It can pull up areas of avoidance for you wherever your Neptune placement is. And mine could be work, which for me intuitively tells me I should have a job that I can actually create and I can be creative and I don't have to have things be so hard into factual information. I can do things that are very creative and fun. And so it does lead me to believe that I'm supposed to be a very artistic crafts and in some sort of artistic vocational field. I almost said career, but we're going to go with the word vocational field because I like that better. But it just leads me to believe that's kind of the area or avenue I should be in. And I'm not surprising. I was a dancer. I love to paint. Not professionally, but for fun. I enjoy painting. I enjoy dancing. I will do that professionally. But singing, just very creative pursuits. Obviously, I'm a content creator for all of you, so I definitely enjoy creating for sure. But with Capricorn being there is that discipline that I must have to some degree in order for things to flow properly, right? That takes me, interesting enough, into my next placement, which is my Pluto placement. Pluto is really interesting. It is, again, Scorpio ruled. So it is about death, sex, transformations, endings, beginnings, changes, just how we adapt and adjust to those things. Mine is in the sign of Scorpio, so it's actually at home, but it is in the 6th house, which is Virgo ruled. Hello, Virgoans. I think this is such an interesting placement yet again because 6th house is a house more so about like work, the things that you are going to be doing in work. And I would say that people who have a Pluto in Scorpio placement, especially 6th house, it's like you're a workaholic. And I am. Anyone knows me knows I love to work. I work a lot. But you're dedicated to like adjusting, creating changes, cultivating things, making things function properly. You like to assist in the function of things if you have this placement. I do. Anytime things aren't working properly, like the one thing my brain is turning is like, how do you make this more efficient and more functional? And that can be great because it can make you wonderful, like managing either things or people, depending on where your forte may be. But being able to see how something functions better can make you a really great people person. It makes you wonderful dealing with people and managing different personalities. And it can also make you great with managing actual like stuff. Maybe you manage like the way a process should go. It can help you see like the efficiency of how something should be. And I really thought when I dug down into that placement, like how cool. Sometimes Pluto can seem so scary and so weird, but when you think about that as a generational planet and then think about most of the people who may have that, you could start to see how we in our generation can change the world on a global collective scale. Like what can we do in the government, what like politics, what can we do socially as a humanitarian? It's just really, really cool. And I really enjoy digging into the generational planets because it's so much of who we are as a big society instead of just our smallness and oneness, you know? It's like that one within the big pond, one drop within the big pond. And I really love that. Okay, 3 more sections to go. These 3 sections are actually 3 of my favorite sections to talk about. I'm going to go into Chiron and then we'll get into the node placement and the midheaven placement, okay? So a Chiron is like your wounding. It is your inner wounding. It is the stuff that is painful, things that you may go through. Mine is in the sign of Cancer in the 2nd house, just so you guys are aware. I actually don't have any placements in my 2nd house, but I do have Jupiter in Cancer in my 1st house. But my Chiron is in Cancer, but in my 2nd house. Chiron in general is just, like I said, your inner wounding. But the interesting thing about Chiron is once you overcome it and master it, it makes you, or it provides way for you to actually assist or help others in that same area or challenge point or wounding point. You can be an advocate against those things. And I just think it's really unique because it's usually something or an area that is difficult for you or difficult for your family. It can be like, how do I put this? Like generational problems within the family, generational curses can come up through this, but mine is in the 2nd house in the sign of Cancer for me, which it's interesting because it is about like security, money, the mother, familial, maternal energy, but also about like financial energy, which being 2nd house is so unique. And so I find it interesting that maybe I am the person, you know, in my family who's overcoming some sort of something within that. And I actually enjoyed it because it's been like, once I understood what it was, I said, oh, this makes more sense to me. And I've gotten to dig deeper to figure out it resonates heavily. I don't want to get into details about how it resonates, but it resonates heavily and it makes me more excited to actually overcome it, if that makes sense to you guys. So that is Chiron. Chiron is so key. If you've never looked up your Chiron placement or like what it means, just go to astrocharts.com. All you need for your entire birth chart is your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth. And you can see all this information. I think it's so unique. It's just like an astrological personality test, but I think it's so cool. Let's move on. Midheaven. Your midheaven is like your reputation, your work, your potential, what people can potentially see you as on a social level as well. Mine is an Aquarius, which is the humanitarian sign, the water bearer, the person who carries all the emotion for other people. Voila, this child right here. Your North Node also coincides with your midheaven and is also a part of your midheaven to some degree. A lot of people feel like your North Node is your soul's purpose. So a lot of time it's a great vocational tool to show you where you need to head to, right? A lot of people consider work to be where we find our purpose in life and what we're supposed to do. So this placement can help you with that. So nodes are just lunar points in the sky. They are not actual placements, just lunar nodes in the sky. Mine is also, again, is in Aquarius in the 10th house. So my midheaven and my North Node all coincide. Most people's do. So having a North Node in Aquarius is Definitely tells me I should do work that involves a lot of people, humanitarian. It tells me I should do something that involves tech, something that is unique, something that, I don't want to say unique, but just gives me freedom to do the things that I would like to do. Aquarians are rebels to some degree. They do not like being like everybody else. They don't like doing things like everybody else. They look for the workaround to adjust or change or be different. If they feel like somebody has them figured out, your Aquarian friends, if they feel like someone's got them, they're like, skirt, change it up on y'all, because they don't want anybody to have the 411 on them. And I freaking love Aquarius because of that. They're so cool. But they'll change it up to some degree just so you don't figure them out all the way. They like to constantly keep you guessing a little bit, and I think that's that rebel streak that runs through them. But just as much as an Aquarius is a rebel, they're very humanitarian focused. They love people. They want what's right for the group. They want what is right for the people. And a lot of time they are difficult, but in the name of helping others in the most unique way. I know it doesn't always make sense, but that is Aquarian energy. So it definitely told me that my soul's purpose was to help others. And it's funny, as a kid, I want to help people. I want to do something that brings people joy. I just want to help people. So if I am doing that for you right now, like the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe if you've made it this far. If you are listening to my content, make sure that you keep coming back every week. I appreciate you for being a listener, as always. But Midheaven and North Node, I would say that they work together. And that would almost speak to what my reputation, again, could be. Hard working, always wanting to do for the people, make the people happy. It's a great thing, but in shadowy nature can be a cold life, because you're always so focused outward that you can forget internally about yourself. And I think that's, if you guys have watched or been a part of my podcast and listened for a while, you'll know that I definitely struggled with like internal love and self-love and going within. And a lot of uncovering my birth chart is the reason that I even tuned into that. I know that sounds stupid, but that's how out of touch I was with who I am, that it took me to read papers and things to like, connect like 58 dots so that the big picture all came together, right? It was great. Freaking great. I loved it. But that is part 2 of my birth chart. I am just so grateful that you guys are here. This video, the last one, got so much more response than I knew people wanted to know from me regarding birth charts and zodiac or any astrology. If there are things that you guys are curious about, leave me comments, shoot me a message to my email, shoot me a message to my social media DMs. I am so open to chat about things that you guys have interest in. I have a wide range of topics that I go between, and astrology is a huge love of mine, as you guys know. So please feel free, don't hesitate. If you're wanting me to talk about like 2 sign placements specifically, let me know. If you have a sun moon combo you would like talked about, drop it below. I'll see if I can maybe put together a little video for you guys. I do actually offer full birth chart reads for a fee. I will not do a full birth chart video for YouTube. I might do a sun and a moon combo, but I would never do a whole chart. It's just too much for everyone else. But if you're curious or you would like a read from me, please reach out to me on my social media. We can get that set up. They take a while. They're long. It's a lot of research that I put into them to make them right for my clients. But if you're interested, reach out to me and we can chat. We can talk toiki. But thank you guys for tuning in with me. I love and appreciate all of you so much. And I can't wait to tune in with you guys next week, okay?